is reading necessary, and why? I'd love interaction from each and every one of you, since we are here on a very important topic that has been there for ages. It's not anything new, but the way it takes shape with the technological world that we are in today, we need to bring a few wonderful changes to society and ourselves, by imbibing this theory of yes, reading is important. And can I have a few takes on why reading is important? If one of any of you all can come forward and take part in the discussion.
Ma'am, it helps us grow from our inner self.
Yes, very true. Yes. And how?
Ma'am, through the instincts while reading and means imagining our own self into the protagonist part, and from there our means mind setup is also like that. It becomes like that.
Hmm, true. So if we are taking from the book, and we are totally immersed, as she said, what happens is we take the role of the protagonist in such a powerful way that we start feeling the same emotions that the writer is writing. And when we take powerful emotions, things start changing within us. We know that because what the universe holds for us, we may take things lying down, we may take things seriously, we may take things at the flip of a coin, just taking it and putting it aside. That's saying listening from one ear and taking out from the other, but not when you're involved. So the power of reading is such that, we get so immersed, just as in a movie, the same thing here. But here, it's only the words that are playing on our mind, the way the author has, swerved the way to take us to on a journey of self-discovery. And it's a beautiful journey because we know that reading impacts our mind, our heart, our soul. And when the feelings are reflected in our being with the reading, what happens is, as I said, the powerful change starts taking. We know when we do gratitude and affirmations that it's the feeling that counts and not the words. So the feeling that you're getting a real, feeling of empathy for the protagonist and how I could solve it even before the author brings us the solution. And then we have so many authors, who leave it to the readers to get the ending done by them. And I think it's just amazing that how we as humans find each one with the powerful human brain like a computer find out different endings in spite of him giving or not giving. So reading, as we know, has done this to us, and we wish to take it across to the next generation and the next and the next. But going with the flow of times, we know that technology has taken over, and my entire presence here today is not to thwart technology, but to understand and streamline the world of technology with reading. What we cannot do in our personal lives, with just a few quotes here and there, we can do with reading. Each book leaves an impact on us. And we don't know when the real powerful change will come across with, and that's how we keep reading book after book. And tell me, my friends here, that the do we read more books, or have the this quality of reading deteriorated? Has it enhanced because of COVID? or where are we at this particular moment? Neelamji or Vasant, anybody can come in to answer.
Man.
Yes,
Okay. Hello, good morning to you.
yeah.
Yes, reading, like I realize I have different, like I'm more of a, should I say, visual person? I don't need the paper, but on phone I'm able to read a lot these days. I just take a picture of that, expand it, zoom it, maybe because of my age and vision. And I'm liking it. I mean, I never thought I will do that. Like touching paper is very unique experience, but I have overpassed that. I don't know why, and I'm surprised at myself. But at the same time, any type of reading, even listening, audio listening, like library books on audio, anything audio is also helping me. Audio visual is helping me. Visual is helping me. So it's a positive change. Like earlier, I used to have attention problem. It has increased during COVID times, and I'm thankful, grateful for that.
Really good, so good. So see how, we all don't know what is the real me. We don't know what is the potential. We don't know what we will like and not like. But as you said, I'm going into the phase of loving the paperback books. And for me, it's a challenge to read on the phone or computer because, of the hassles that that it goes very fast. And of course, if we zoom in, as you said, the font becomes larger. That is not the hurdle. But the real thing is whatever suits us is the best. If that suits you, fine. If this suits me, it's perfectly okay. The main thing is to be able to read, pass it on to our next generation. And we all know, since we're at this age and stage, that, our teens are in schools and colleges are not into reading so much as we were, and we are taking back that habit in our stride. So we, as citizens who pass on the legacy, to the next generation. I'd urge, like I was invited by a principal in a school, stating, that, ma'am, I was to do a puppet show for the children, very young, and I was so excited to talk to the parents over there. And I said, ma'am, can I get 10 to 15 minutes to speak to the parents? She said, why 10, 15? You speak for half an hour or more. And I said, any particular topic you have in mind? Because I was going to speak on whatever I wanted to. But she said, no, you speak on how this gadgets have corrupted our minds to the extent that we don't want to read. And the children are getting so glued to it, it's difficult for the parents to wean them away, from this. It may be, it's the way we use it, the gadgets. It's not bad, but it's the way, if we are totally 24 by 7 into gadgets and not touching a book or not doing any other activity, like, we all have our hobbies. I'm sure we all know that. We have reading, painting, cycling, whatever, going for walks, yoga. But just this one aspect of reading, we don't want to miss out, and we don't want our next generation. And we cannot give them a speech, but we can bring them round with beautiful stories which inspire and touch them by oral the storytelling, which has come down to us generations back. We all know that how storytelling started. There were no gadgets, no pen and paper at that time, and there was no papyrus. It all got discovered as time went by. And what we learned is, that wow, when they could do storytelling, through word of mouth, then just now when the children don't want to read, why can't we do the same? And as I said, we may be at whatever stage, a parent, a grandparent, a teacher, but at the same time, we are, partnering with them to make the best, and we can't give a speech that you shouldn't. So the best part is put it into action and show them. And we know that, we all know that, when we bring up children, I had never read a book, about the do's and don'ts of parenting. But luckily, my part along the journey was that I was fond of reading right from childhood. So whenever I finished my work, I used to sit down with a book or read to them or play with them intelligent games, and we would sit in the middle surrounding ourselves with books. I never knew the importance, believe me, but it was just my way of passing on my intense liking for books. Because when I was a little lonely when I was a child, I realized that that was the only source. The books were the only source which gave me uh, this, all the knowledge, the info, the fun, the imagination, the restoration of thoughts that we have curtailed, the thoughts that we can, imbibe and become and evolve as a better person. So yesterday we had Sonal, who was talking about the power of words. And I was very excited to attend her session only for the reason that let me see how she does it. It's not that, to check out someone, but it is how different thoughts and different people can give us a total new, amazing experience. And we all know how it was. I hold workshops for, use the right word at the right time. And so the power of words was somewhat in that tandem and line. And also, we know the song, Words Are All I Have by the Boys, And we have been hearing that. And because of the rhythm, the music, the words written by the, we know that, yes, it is, words are so powerful. And that is all we have to make friends. It either makes or breaks friendships. It either takes us to a world of imagination and exploration. Because we all know every time if we want to travel, it's not possible. So, what is the best way that we travel? And we travel through these books. And would you agree with me when I say that a person who doesn't read is a fool indeed? Please comply with these views as an because we know that the wonderful array of authors and books that we have today, and so many libraries are closing. All that hurts. But the thing is that if we keep the tradition on of getting ourselves into a phase of storytelling, reading, and imbibing it with rather than giving them you know updesh, or what we call in Hindi updesh, and other things, lectures. It's rather we talk about, come, I'll tell you a story, and some real experience. Like, when I have my storytelling group, I tell them it's okay if you forward a story, but wouldn't you like to create something? Because we all have experiences. Nobody can say in this world that I don't have a story to tell you. It's either our own story or a story from whosoever we have heard. It can be a story of the past or the present. It can be a story of the future. And it's the way we, take it to the world. Like, imagine, like, if we can say imagination is so strong, like we have been hearing a lot about how our powerful brain is like a computer. And we know and we wonder how and why. But when we put it to test, we feel, oh, yes, if I can achieve this, I can achieve more. And the thing over here is that the exploration, the inspiration, the motivation, the lot of, as I said, imagination, the ideas, the way the words, take us on a journey of fascination and the beautiful world that is waiting out there to show us the beautiful world through the lens of the words. And so we see movies which, is visual, as she said, the audiobooks are the one that is olfactory. But we realize that, yes, in whichever form we do it, it's the best. Like, a simple example, tell me if you all have also faced that. When I see a movie and I'm thinking I'm the director there when I'm seeing the movie, you get so immersed in the movie that you want to, we all have that judgmental. And it's not just judgmental, it's how would I solve this problem? That thought comes in your mind even before the director gives the answers. And when the movie ends, I feel, oh no, I could have written it that way, or I could, would other people write it? So each one have a different takes. And when we do these sessions, we find out, that it's just not our own thoughts. It's everybody is so creative, and the wonderful array of thoughts, ideas, and suggestions that, we get from these people uh, starts our mind starts ticking, in the right direction. It gets a lot of info with the push and the power of portraying it in a different way. And as I said, as a child, when I used to read, when I was a lonely child, I never realized it. But I felt, if books could give me that satisfaction, which people can't uh, give me as friendship, then I'd rather have books as my friends. And at that time, when I was reading, I never knew that this hobby or this liking for books would turn into my passion and my professional world when I grew up. And I'm so thankful to my parents, thankful to the universe for showing me and guiding the light along the way, that as we get depressed when things don't happen our way, even now, or in our youth, even youth go through these phases of darkness and light. But the best thing is that how we come out of it, and unknowingly or knowingly, the universe is guiding us, holding our hand, and we don't realize it. We go with the flow. And today, when I have my interviews or my sessions, I feel, oh, lovely. The little girl that was within me has read the books, and story after story has made me a storyteller, a writer. And I hold my book clubs and many other things, which all revolves around this. Don't you think it's a wonderful way of approaching the world in this light of giving them the guidance? Because you tell me, how many people hold book clubs today? Very few. How many people hold storytelling? Again, very few. But now the impact of storytelling has increased, is because even educators have found out, that yes, storytelling is a great opportunity to connect. You tell me, if there is a talk in the corporate world, and we all know that how they did it, can we have one of us subscribing to it, how it was done in the corporates and is being done sometimes now also? You're given a talk on, you have to give a talk on leadership. And what do you hear when you are in the seminar? Yeah. So I'll give you the answer if nobody is coming forward, that it can be, hard facts, or it can be a person who tells a story before starting the hard facts. Tell me which one would impact the audience more. The simple hard facts that, he's portrayed, or the one who starts with the storytelling. It can be, as I said, real or imaginary, or a heard version of someone telling you something, and you portray it there without the names mentioned, and the audience takes it up like a fish to water. So which is having a more,
The people will means they will obviously want to listen to the storytelling one.
yes. And why, Alicia? Why?
Because ma'am, I feel that it is means interesting to hear something from somebody means ma'am, I feel that reading is also good, but if we listen stories like in our childhood days we used to listen stories from our grandparents and our parents, so means that feeling, that emotions and that imaginations used to create in our own minds. So this is why I feel that if someone, even now, if someone read a book for me, I would feel that means it would be means really a good feeling for me as well now.
Lovely, Alicia. And we all feel the same. If you have said the views of everyone here, and I tell you, that yes, we have listened to stories from our aunts, uncles, grandparents, and parents. And we've come to this stage, as understanding that how we remember the story told years back to us is because we have related to that. It has touched our hearts and our souls. So, what is done with intelligence, you know, what is done by emotions can't be done with intelligence. And we know that. So, the heart and the feelings and the soul calling out is so, so powerful that, the hard facts that we learned in school, all the rote method, the algebra algorithms, the geometry, the history. If we were a keen student of history, we'd remember, but if not, we found it a waste of time. And so many other subjects, which we may have liked or not liked. But nobody can say up till now that we don't like a story. Can anyone say here, no, I don't like stories? Be it in a form of a movie, an audio, a video, or whichever form. Yeah, Pritamji, tell me.
Yes, I used to read stories, books in my school days as well. See, when people were uh, discussing something not relevant, I used to read my book, the first book that I really liked, Amazon के जंगलों में. And
Pardon?
it Amazon के जंगलों में.
Acha.
And it was so powerful that I loved it. Word of Amazon, how people used to live there and how they interacted, that was still powerful. And after that, I also got into reading books, and now it still is my hobby.
Wonderful knowing that.
So
And
when you're lonely and you don't have anything else to do, I certainly like to read books. Now the topic of books have changed, but still good books are always good. Thank you.
so we can say good books are our best friends, aren't
Yeah,
they?
forever.
Forever, from
Yes.
child till our
Yeah.
old age. And
Yeah.
if we know the importance, even today's children, they love watching the serials or movies, whether at home or in the theaters. But the thing is that it is all a story at the end of the day. And if there are powerful writers, as I said, who take the theme from there and with there, if we have read one book also, or even if we have read 100 books, but yes, it does change the way of thinking. It changes our world, totally. And as you said, we remember, things which have been told to us as stories by anyone, by teachers, by parents, but we do not remember the hard facts that we had roted then back to just get marks and percentage. And thankfully, I would say And I urge all parents today that don't go on marks, that you must get 98 and you must get 95. I've heard parents, and I'm amazed at the way they speak, because we were six in our family. We have never heard our parents saying that you must get this. And whenever I came back to my father to show the report, and sometimes it would be less marks, sometimes more. And I was scared when they were less, but he just smiled at me and said, good. And I told him, no, daddy, it's not enough. Is 60 or 70 good? He said, yes, of course. Why not? When you can do it, next year you'll do more. So that was the way of encouragement. So, as I said, may the universe bless us, with wonderful people. There are people who are wonderful, but the thing is, our perception goes wrong in bringing up our next generation by forcing them, by wanting them to listen to our views and our suggestions. Or no, you should take science. No, you should take architecture. Don't you think it's a force of rather than a way of going about it, with a story, by telling them, that whether it's for the good or the bad, you tell them a story of engineering they want to take, and you're not trying to influence or persuade them not to take, but you're trying to just tell them through a story, and then telling them after finishing that you can go through more examples like these and more. So that opens up their mind, as it opens up everyone's mind who reads stories, who listen to audios, who go for movies, and the lovely impact it has on our life of, discovering our own self, which we never knew, discovering the people around us, exploring the world, sitting at home. We are in Rome or we are in Kashmir, just by the words of the writer. And we know that writers do not tell, they show with words. And that's the beautiful impact. If anybody can come up with which are your best authors, I'd love that. Or which are the best books that they have impacted you. So we all,
Munshi Premchand.
yes.
That's the books I liked at that time as well. And
Okay.
he really wrote very good stories, and they are still in my mind.
And what do you think that his style was? Was it preachy style, or was it a flow, or what was it?
Sorry, I didn't get you.
No, why do you like Munshi Premchand? I mean, as an author, you felt that how did he contribute to your thinking, or how did he touch your heart? By the
They, are-
preachy,
they were very simple and straightforward. And he weaved a word of words in such a way that they really touch your heart. That is what I liked.
true.
Ma'am, for me also Munshi Premchand, because when I was in 7th, 8th grade, there were many stories, Parda and everything, Wasiyat, and Wasiyat really touched me. Like the
Yeah.
guy who was taking most care did not get anything, and the
Yeah.
bird, and he was able to release the bird from the cage, and that's symbolism.
Yeah.
And that touched my heart. Other people, his family people were more focused on his wealth and share, and maybe he wanted to give, but the symbolism of freedom, this is what I interpreted. I may see it's reader's discretion as well. And
Yeah.
really Parda, because they were hiding their reality and showing outside reality, and the guy who comes to collect the money opens that Parda, and then they find how, like, how much they are suffering, but outside they were showing outside personality, not inside reality. So that touched me, and till today, I mean, I'm way much older these days, but that stayed with me. Yes, my husband is saying much older from behind. Yeah, that touched me and stays with me, and that's inspiring to know. Just be real. Thank you.
Superb, superb. So see, it does touch our hearts, and whatever touches our heart, The heart is more powerful than the mind. We remember it through ages. We may have read when we are 7 and we may be 60 or 70 today, but the memory remains as a fragrance. Even the attar or the perfume that we put, after some time, the fragrance goes away, but not the fragrance of words, not the weave of the words that impact our mind, our soul, leads us to a journey of self discovery, exploration, and a wonderful imaginative world, which we could never have imagined if we had not read. So, how much do we lose by not reading? Is my question. That is why I asked why reading is necessary. And yeah, my question was that why is reading necessary? So,
That opens the door of knowledge for you.
pardon?
Otherwise, you can interact with few people, but with books, you can interact with all the intellectuals as well as about the world.
Mhm. And as you said, simple stories
Yeah.
of Premchand, what impacts our heart and mind is not the big words or the harsh reality which comes through simple and straightforward way
Yeah.
is what touches our heart, because
Yeah.
simplicity, our heart is so simple and soft that it takes in this like a duck to water. And we think that why did I like this story? When I like Sudha Murthy today, people love her stories. It's because she tells it so simply without any pretensions or fake. And the thing is, it impacts a child or an adult and all of us in the same way. It just touches our heart, and we want to read her book after book. And so there are many other authors like that, as I said. And we'd all wish here on this platform of Mavin, which Shabana ji has given us, as I said earlier also when I'd come here, that we want to leave a legacy behind us, even when we're there and we have passed away. And that legacy is not necessary that we have to become an author or an actor. The legacy that we leave behind with whichever few people our life touches is the impact of wonderful way of going about it, telling a simple thing, but in words that are unimaginable, that are so touching to the heart that the person remembers. I remember some people telling me, years after, oh, you had told us this, or you had gifted this, or you had, you are so loving that today I know you don't recognize me, but you would not do it on intention. And I said, how did they know me? But the thing is that the honesty or the sincerity comes in our eyes, and the person can see it and view it in such a way that they know us much better than we know ourselves. And those are the revelations. We may know ourselves a little, but there are people who know us in and out. And even when we read the books, we start knowing ourselves. Oh, is that me? Oh, this would could this be? Could I relate this to my life? Am I the same person as the protagonist here is? And the protagonist could be a hero or a villain. That is not the point. The point is that when we are connecting to the protagonist, we are realizing our strengths, our weaknesses, our and the impact it gives us that yes, we must change, which no preachings in the world can tell us that we today there are so many preachers in every religion, but we listen and we forget, or we take only that which uh, you know we like. We don't take every word of theirs in our dictionary, but the Bible that we have created, the dictionary that we have created is our own. It could be in a mental form, it could be in a written form, but it is there. And that's how I urge everyone over here to write a short story, a short episode of the experiences of the past to the present and put it on the group or message it to me separately, whichever way, we'd like. And let's make this a rapport, a building community, a budding community. We would not say writers, we will say we impact the world and we want the world to realize, what we can give, whatever little it is, our little contribution to the world in our, because we all pass away and so many wonderful thoughts and emotions lie buried within us and they die with our body. But why not we either put it on paper? If we are not good on paper, we are good as storytellers. If we are not good there, we are good in reading clubs, or we are good at forming a group where we read stories and discuss and take, like there's one person I had, who used to we used to go all the way to her house and she would say, I will read Shakespeare. And after reading Shakespeare, where most of us say that, oh, we don't understand his language, he's so difficult a writer, but she would explain it so well that the nuances of the writing and the literary rich treasure that is there opened up before our eyes. And we thanked her. We couldn't thank her enough, but yet we thanked her whatever little that, we come to your place, but you have, after every episode, there is a Shakespeare book, that you bring to us. And best part is she just doesn't read, she explains. And so our interpretation may be different, hers is different. But when you put yours and the others who are in the room all together, you already formed a story in your mind. You already got so many anecdotes. You've got so much experience, which we wash it away, as we know, even counselors and psychologists tell us that when you're going through a bad phase, why don't you write down what you're feeling? Because it really heals us. And so the power of words is not just in giving us info and imagination, it heals. Words heal. They impact, they imbibe us into a world of fascination. I'll tell you a story. You must be knowing the story. The rabbit who scurried into, his burrow, that Alice in Wonderland.
Mm.
Do we remember that story? All of us. We may.
Yes, yes, we all do.
So when these little children, come to me and I tell them, have you read? Some say yes and some say no. And I said, okay, let's do it. We do it in a simple way, not reading word to word, because that would like take a long time. So we read little, everybody puts in their, small efforts of explaining if they've read and if they've loved the book. And when we finish reading, the children come up with so many new ideas, new suggestions that I feel, wow, if they could write or I could write, So there's so much to do in this world, and each moment of ours is a blessing from the universe. That each second that we have, as I said, if we can just form a group, a community, as I said, and digitally or personally move across the country or the town that we are in and make it a treasure by just telling stories in a park or at the sea side, where we go for a stroll or a walk. Is you would see within yourself that after 1 2 people join, it's a huge crowd of people who will join you. And it's an amazing experience that you don't know what you have said, but they are glued to you. They're glued to the story that you are telling, and they go away with rich experiences. And wherever I give a talk, wherever, whichever platform I am on, I want to get action and not just theory. So I'd urge again everyone to come forward with your experiences, your stories told in your way, and each one has that rich treasure of words, sentences, experiences, past of present, as I said, or future. And we know what future means. Like there are authors, who even write about future, and we think, how did they know? How would they? And could I get? And I got so many similar stories within my own mind, of I read a book about a time machine, and I said, oh wow, what if I could, put myself in the past, bring myself back from there, put myself in the future, and imagine a different Samina, and we all could do that. And I never knew that impact till I read that book. So don't you think books are a world of discovery? They give us an insight into the rich legacy of our heart. Yeah. Anyone on
Yes,
story?
they are. But see, now everything is online, so people are not so used to reading books.
Yes.
That's the reason. So technology has changed everything.
Technology is
Thank
But
you. Thank you, Samina ji. I want to share this. When we were kids, we used to read Birbal and Tenali Ram's
yes,
kisse on
Akbar Birbal ki kahaniyan.
Birbal ki khaniya. They were so technically solved the problems that time. And now the RJ Vinny and Karthik, they just tell the story on the Facebook and all that. They just give us the new vision for us. Or old memories still there. Na? So now, first we were child, then now we read more books about Osho and Buddhas and all that. I used to take book and open any page and just read that.
wow.
I did many times. I got the answer from there. It's
You
very
ask question, and yes, I don't know if you do that, but you ask the question and then just shut your eyes, a 2 minute silent meditation, and then you open your eyes, as I said, and as you said, that open any page.
yes,
I do it with all the spiritual books also, with Quran, with Bible. I almost read everything, Gita I want to know, so I do it, and then I like go deep into it. What is it trying to tell me? What is the depth of this? What is the meaning? There may be 4 meanings, not just one.
yes,
But when with those 4 lines, if you go in the depth, you'll rediscover a wonderful world of uh, thoughts and this, which you thought could never exist, which you thought was never there. And you're so shocked, and you get the answer. The beautiful
yes.
part is that the question that you the universe gives it to you. Sometimes I'm just sitting, not even opening a book, I'm looking at the birds and the green, and the answer flashes through my mind.
Yes. Many more and positive thoughts comes from the good books always. Even Bhagavad Gita and any other. I used to read this Hanuman Chalisa or that also. It's motivate.
Yes. So Hanuman Chalisa you read every day, but did you know the meaning of it?
Yes, yes. We feel. I can feel it.
That is the power of
it's
the.
it's power of words. Yes.
So I really relate myself with the song, words are all I have, take your heart away. And I wish I've done that today morning. And I want to come back more on this platform, with on every other platform.